The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the makeshift Upmarket studio in Oxnard, California, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO and a co-founder of Upmarket Media. I'm so happy, Mark. I feel like we're in a glass house today. We have a little new location, but I'm happy that you're here. Mark Corcoran, our COO and another co-founder.
Yeah, happy to be here in our new setup. I'm trying to figure out how I can turn and look at you, but
yeah, I don't think the visuals for us are not going to be. I mean, I feel bad for you. You don't get to look at me that much during the podcast.
Yeah,
but Chelsea has a good view of both of us.
I do.
Oh, hello,
Hi,
Chelsea.
guys.
Producer Chelsea is here off camera if you're watching on our ever popular YouTube feed. But yeah, we kind of, I don't know if these are going to be our new digs or not, but we kind of have a hook on a kind of a new studio space kind of going into the new year for the Upmarket pod.
I mean, we're loving it. I'm sitting here sipping cold brew that I just got off a cold brew tap in the next room. So for me, I'm like loving life.
Yeah. We just had an offer from kind of a team leader at one of the brokerages here in Oxnard for us to record the podcast in their office. And we said, okay, let's do it. And here we are. So I think this is a really good strategy for us because it puts us on display. And literally we're in like a glass conference room. And so anyone walking by can see us in here. It does put us on display as Upmarket Media at this place where we have a ton of clients and we also have a ton of non-clients that we want to get to know.
Ton of potential out there. So we need a little sign, a little neon sign.
Yeah, and I think the offer was more for us to record our other podcast, which is focused on Ventura County real estate here. But we said, well, we also have a podcast where we basically talk shit about realtors for an hour. Can we record that there too? And they said, well, absolutely.
Yeah, they'll be listening in from the next room.
Well, because actually, when you really talk to realtors, they want to talk shit about realtors more than real estate photographers do. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, this could be a fun one.
Everyone hates realtors, even including realtors. So it's really we have a commonality with our clients. Yeah. So here we are. This will be our last podcast of 2023. And this, I think, is basically going to be a companion piece to our last episode, which was our SWOT analysis, which you can go back and listen to that. And this isn't like a direct response to that, but I think, a lot of the stuff, Mark, that we went over in that episode, we're going to touch on today a bit because this is really about our action items. Or what are we going to do during the slow season, which, is basically from December for us, through January, maybe through February, but I've had very busy Februaries before. And, kind of what are we doing for our business during the slow time? And I think a lot of the issues that came up in the SWOT analysis are things that, we want to try to tackle while it's slow.
Yeah. I mean, we do the SWOT to analyze, but then it's like, all right, how do we turn that analysis into action and actually,
right.
Put a step forward on it. And
Chelsea, did you listen to the SWOT analysis episode yet?
Not yet.
Oh, it's on your list though, I'm sure.
It is.
A big priority.
Yeah, you got to check in on those action items. They're pretty riveting.
As the producer, you should be listening to the episodes.
I know.
Yeah, that's anyway, whatever. But so I think what we want to do first is probably, what you should do actually in your, when you start to be in slow season and you're thinking about moving forward is kind of project what the next year is going to be like. Because if you don't kind of have a sense of how next year is going to be for your business, it's hard to know what to focus on because we can't focus on every single thing during the slow season, but we can choose a few things that we think are going to be the most beneficial. So, finding some way of doing projections for what you think business is going to be like for next year. And I don't really have a secret sauce on how to do that, kind of officially. But I, just trying to read the tea leaves, and the tea leaves that I've read are interest rates are going lower. And in talking with realtors, everyone thinks it's going to go bananas. Is kind of where, or at least get back to pre-pandemic norms.
Yeah. And it feels like the last year or 2 to 3 maybe have been just kind of unpredictable, right? And the start of the year, like, well, maybe the rates are going to go down, maybe business will pick up. But now it feels like we're kind of stabilized and we're peaking with rates and it's going to come down and business will be maybe more predictable.
Well, I felt like a year ago, we were kind of anticipating that it was going to be slower in 2023. Maybe not to the extent that it was. Because I remember we did an episode, right? This time last year about, the backlash is coming in. But that was because we thought, the houses are going to sit on the market longer, and then realtors are going to be upset about their photos more.
Yeah, but we didn't know how slow it was going to be, right? And like how long it was going to take for rates to kind of stabilize. And now it feels like we're kind of entering like, okay, we know what maybe is going to happen this year.
And we're trending too for the last few months. It's been busier than we were anticipating. And relative to our spring, our fall has been quite busy. Would you agree, Chelsea?
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like
we haven't seen
really
that.
slow when we were expecting it to be fast paced, and then now when we are expecting it to be slow, it's definitely picking up again, which is good.
And in fact, and not to again to dwell on last year too much, but we kind of touched on it in the SWAT episode. But as we're nearing the end, when we're recording this, what are we recording it on? The 18th of December. That I'm thinking we might hit our number from last year, actually. That when it's all said and done, we're going to be even with our revenue from last year. And that is a tremendous accomplishment. And it doesn't necessarily feel that great because our costs absolutely went up. So I think there's actually less money for Mark and I to go party, but, or to pay for private school or dance or whatever, all the hell we do. But I think we are going to be even to last year. So,
which is pretty remarkable when you think about it, right?
It's super remarkable.
Inventory's down 30 to 40%, and we're stabilized. I mean, that's pretty wild.
It's a good sign for next year.
Yeah, it's a scary sign in a way. I mean, in a good way. I just want to make sure that we're ready. Yeah. Because if as we've been talking about now for the last couple of episodes, we're because we've gotten more clients since then. We're up to 140, 145 new clients this year. So if things do get busy, we are going to be up to our eyeballs. Come April.
If spring comes and 600 to 700 clients all get a listing, then like holy cow.
Yeah. So I think that's a big part of what we need to prepare for next year. And so I think during this slow season, what we want to look at is how's our staffing. And in our SWOT analysis, we said that our staff is one of our strengths, but it's also one of our weaknesses. We feel like we're very appropriately staffed at this point, but if it does go bananas, I think we're up shit creek a little bit.
Yeah, we're potentially understaffed quite significantly for a busy spring. So right now we have more capacity we could fill, obviously, which is good through the slow holiday kind of season. But man, it feels like we need a couple more people in our pipeline, maybe.
Yeah. And that was Jeff's big takeaway from us. So after we did our SWOT analysis on the podcast, we did not the real one, but we did another one with our business advisor, Jeff, friend of the podcast. And he said, you just have to have a pipeline. And he was really about, well, you can't just go and hire 3 new employees, but you want to make sure that you have targets of people that you want to hire and even kind of maybe get them, have them come out and train with you or do something to get it where they could hit the ground running if there is a bit more volume.
Yeah. So it's having conversations now, right? And maybe, like you said, doing training to have them just, really ready to go. But being realistic that maybe there's not going to be work for the next few weeks.
Yes. For the next couple months. Yeah. And too, because we have to give our current employees, hours and like this week is like, we're going to be rained out most of the week and it's a slow week anyway. I mean, the week leading up before Christmas is, and the week after Christmas are 2 of the slowest weeks of the year for sure. But this year we're going to have the double whammy of a bunch of weather here. So we got to feed our current staff. And so that's always the thing. It's always that balance, right? I mean,
yeah, we want to keep them as busy as possible, but I still want to service our VIP clients, so I want to stay in the field. So it's a tough time of year.
Yeah, and I feel that way too. I mean, just kidding.
Yeah, but guess who was shooting Friday Night Twilights, baby?
That was Mark. That was Mark. Hi too. So I got out of that, so that was good.
Yeah, thanks a lot
for one of our VIP for my first client ever, and so Mark can go ahead and service her now. So I guess what that is probably putting out. I think we have a couple people that people have slipped their names in or people who are, other people are vouching for these people to us. So I think we have a couple names on the docket of people we can talk to, but we may need to cast the net out again and see what kind of resumes we can get.
Yeah. Ideally we're looking for someone that's just kind of part-time with supplemental income, right? That's kind of our ideal client at this point.
Yeah, our ideal employee. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Our ideal candidate.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then it also goes to thinking about how are we on the admin side? Do we have enough help with that? And Chelsea, what do you think?
Well, right now it's okay. But now that you said it's going to be scary next year, now I'm scared. So
it's going to give Chelsea nightmares.
Yeah, you should. Well, especially as we still haven't really had the conversation of what you want your hours to look like for next year. But one of the steps that we are taking in terms of our staff that we're already taking is, and Mark's in charge of this.
Yeah, I am. And we have someone good lined up, and that is setting up our VA. And that was my kind of action item last time, was like really, figuring out what a VA can do for you, what they can take off your hands. And especially for Chelsea and the admin side, when your day just gets slammed with scheduling and client facing stuff, like what can we kind of take off your desk that can free up your time to do that stuff more efficiently?
Yeah. So we have a lead on a VA. And in fact, we're talking with someone about it. And we're very much in the very beginning stages of that. So I think we're going to probably set up a Zoom meeting or something with them.
Yeah. And it may be, if we find a great candidate for that and it's multi-talented, that they can do multiple things for us, or maybe the VA we find initially is just going to help us with certain tasks, and then we'll find someone else to help with, social media or whatever it ends up being.
But I think the big ones are that we really just need someone to do the quality control pass on the photos. Is kind of the big one. Because I know, Mark and Chelsea kind of split that up mostly with Mark at this point. And that's just not the lifestyle we want to be living. And,
Mark doesn't need to be doing that.
No. And then when it's busy, if there's 15 shoots to deliver, it's just, you can't be doing that either. It's just, there's no time.
Yeah.
Oh, tilt up your mic a little. Yeah.
No, I mean, it can kill your morning on a regular day, but if there's a ton, then it's can creep into the afternoon and clients aren't getting photos on time. Yeah. And it's just, cascades.
And that way someone, if there's also someone in Southeast Asia, who can, as those photos come in, for us, if they're 5 a.m, well, they're already, it's towards the end of their workday. So they're going to be primed to get those out and ready to go.
Yeah. So by the time we log in at 8:30, 9 o'clock, it's just like, boom, we just click the button and send.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Because mornings are crazy when you have kids and all that stuff going on, and you're trying to do that. And, we offloaded it and then it came back to me. So, I'm ready to definitely offload it for good now.
Good.
Well, and within that too, figuring out what the VA is, I mean, it's also figuring out all the different things that they can do and what we, as we strategize for what we want to do next year. And you want to have plans for everything, right? So it's including social media, which we were talking about is still like the thorn in our side. But of how will the VA have skills in social media and be able to get content out and post more frequently or whatever.
I mean, that's kind of the dream. I think if someone can be doing quality control in the morning and then switch to social media or whatever it ends up being, then that'd be super nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's a job in itself. With social
media and we can find, and even if the VA who is great at photos doesn't do social media, we can find a social media VA. I mean, that's the costs of VAs, I think, are such that, we can have a couple different ones if we need to, not necessarily full-time ones, but, so as we're looking at what we're doing for next year, I think all the tasks that we're doing, one of the things that we're doing during this slow season is looking at every task that we all do and saying what can be offloaded. And we just did that on we met with our CFO, Liz, who wants to kind of step back from a little bit of the day-to-day of the financial stuff. And so we were going through what her tasks are. And so who can do those tasks? And some of them Mark and I can do, some of them, and Chelsea, congratulations. You'll be getting an email shortly with a few things, but it's not big stuff. It's just like having a system for the receipts. And that's because you got to put them into QuickBooks. And if you can't, and you can't everyone can't just email receipts into QuickBooks because you have to have a QuickBooks login. It has to be associated with that email address. So it has to go to one central email address and then goes to because not everyone on the team has a login for QuickBooks. So there's just little things like that where it's just a little bit of a pain in the butt. Right. So, but it's a workflow that's going to take 20 minutes a week or something. And so it's not that big of a deal, but it's just figuring out those things and figuring out a better system for it.
Yeah, there's so many things, right, that we're kind of reconfiguring and redelegating all on the financial side, and who's running payroll and who is doing the receipts and who's contacting this and submitting this form, all the little things on the back end.
Yeah, because I think we're finding, and it goes for everyone on the team, of like what is the most efficient use of your time, and what are the things that are nagging and taking you out of doing the things that you should be doing.
Right.
So I think that like doing the quality control pass on the photos for Mark inhibits him kind of thinking about the bigger picture things. And, and if I have to do anything and I can't just go get massages, like my brain doesn't function,
I know.
It's like, I got to have I'm the big idea guy, I got to be ready.
Yeah. You need your salon appointments. You need all that stuff.
I do.
I mean, come on.
I do. If I don't look my best and feel my best, I'm not at my best.
That's when you get your best ideas.
That's true.
Having a glass of wine and getting your hair done.
Well, we all have our systems.
It's taking it.
I'm proud. That's fine. And I think that goes to a bigger thing of looking at all of our systems and figuring out where can we streamline.
Yeah, because as we all know, if we don't do it now in December, January, then come March and April, it's just not going to get done, and it'll get pushed to next December and January because you just get swept up in the day-to-day and the grind of the business. So now is that time.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought you had a big
no. That was my big.
Oh, that was your big. Okay, exactly. Well, it's so.
Mark nailed it.
Mark, that is so true.
Right? Exactly.
So I think we'll talk a little bit more about streamlining some of the operations in the second half. But what then we want to think about then if we're what we have projections for our volume is like, are our prices appropriate? That's a big one. That's, I think, something everyone should think about in the slow season is like, are you going to raise prices this year? The answer is probably yes. We kind of advocate raising prices every year if possible, and that people have not, historically for us, no one has ever really pushed back when we've raised prices.
And it always feels scary, and it always says, it's going to be different this year. I feel like we're really at the top of where we can be and we're peaking on price, but it's like, you bump them up. And
I feel like we are too. And we actually raised prices twice this last year. So I actually don't think we're going to do a global price rise because we raised prices at the beginning of 2023. And then as we the first 6 months of the year were not great. We just felt like, we just raised our prices $10 for each service across the board. Cause it was just like, okay, that'll just help with the credit card fees. And so,
it was a small bump and no one really felt it. And we didn't really announce it. We just rolled it out.
But it's made us, that $10 has made us a couple $1,000, extra. So,
and what ended up happening is we ended up having to reconfigure our packages on the back end of that.
Right. So that's what we that was kind of this and something we'll talk about in a second, is our price bump for 2024 is we had left our package prices the same, even though we had raised our other prices kind of to entice people to do packages. And I don't think that, I guess at a certain point I was like, I just don't even think that matters. And then you look at some of the packages that we had and you're like, man, we're way undercharging. It's like you're getting, like if you do you do our luxury package and it's 5 different services, you're getting more than one of those services for free. You want it to be, I think, more of like a 10 to 15% savings for the client. And some of them were like 30%.
It was up there. Yeah. Because, we'd gone through all that stuff on a spreadsheet initially, but then once the prices went up and got bumped around, we really had to look again. And it was like, whoa, 30% off is like, this just like.
Yeah. And like our flagship Upmarket media package for a 1,200 square foot house, we had it $950. And so that's photos, Matterport, aerial photos and video, 30-second video, 45-second video. And that was $950. And it was like, wow, that should just be $995.
Yeah.
And it's not that, and if someone's going to spend $950, they'll spend $995. It's not that big of a deal. But that's $45 extra.
Yeah. And we wanted to keep it under that $1,000. It just feels like a nice little
so
place
that's kind
to
of
be.
the starter price. So I think you do get a little bigger discount on that level than you would at subsequent, square footage tiers. But so we kind of took that tack of like, well, if something is $50, we'll raise it up to the next level. And then for some of our bigger packages that we don't sell at that often, to be perfectly honest, we definitely increased the price quite a bit on some of those.
Yeah. Some, agents get that big listing and they're not really price sensitive at that point when they want to just go all out and do the work. So it's still attainable. It's not insane. Right.
Right. But that feels good. And that I feel we both feel, I think that, doing just raising photo prices again right now would be a little too much. It just feels not quite right. But I think we did have an idea of something to kind of drastically raise our prices on. I don't know. Chelsea, do you even know about this?
I do not.
Oh.
I'm very intrigued.
Oh, we are. You should be. In an effort to not sell as much of this product, we are thinking of raising substantially our Twilight prices. So right now we price our Twilights at $250. And we're talking about raising them to either $300 or $350 even. I'm kind of on the $350 tack.
$350.
Oh, so look,
I'm getting outnumbered now.
Yeah. Or at least $335, which is what our, base level photo price is.
Yeah, and that's our kind of 8 to 10 photo deliverable. We're not doing a full interior shoot. It's mostly exteriors, front and back. Takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, so it's always, so even at $250, it's a nice profit for us on it because of the time involved. The editing costs on those are a bit more, and I think we actually just found a way to kind of reduce our editing costs. So we'll raise our prices and lower our costs on the editing side. But it's just it goes back to what so much of things go back to is our quality of life.
Yeah.
And I just noticed that. I've done a couple Twilight shoots in the last month or so. And even though it's getting dark at 4:50 and that's when the shoots are, I still just get so depressed every time I'm driving home from a Twilight shoot. And this is me being such a baby, of course, because plenty of people work nights. Plenty of people, I'm not, I'm a prima donna, but I understand that I'm lame. But for some reason it just like always depresses me, and especially if it's like a 45-minute drive. But I did one that was 4 minutes from my house, and I was like, this sucks. So I think it's really a drain, and I know Mark gets pushback from it from his family. Of course, anyone does.
I enjoy the process of shooting the Twilights, but it's all the stuff around it and the way that it kills your night, and it's all right at dinner time, and then you're still uploading all the photos from the day that are sitting on your memory card you haven't had a chance to look at. It's just like, man, it just slows everything down.
Yeah. And so what Mark and I have thought about quite a bit with this is like, well, and it goes back to even when we were solo, it is like, yeah, we make good money on those, but our staff, they just make regular money. They just make their regular hourly rate. And so it's like, we feel like, oh, okay, that's a drain for us, but we're making a lot more money. And it's like, well, how is our staff going to feel? And I know no one has really said it, but you can tell. It's like, oh yeah, I had Twilights twice maybe 3 times this week. Oh, well, that's kind of a lot.
Right.
So I think if our price point is much higher, we will do less. Although I was talking to another business owner a little while ago about Twilights, and they said, oh, we raised them by, 30%, and we sold the same exact number of them this year.
Didn't slow anybody down, right?
It didn't. But I think, so even if it doesn't, the benefit of doing this is that then we are going to be able to actually pay our employees more. And we haven't quite figured out how we're going to do this yet. But I think and I know some of them listen to the podcast, so this may be the first time they hear about this. But we're trying to figure out a way that we can, give kind of a bonus, like a Twilight bonus effectively. So, it's probably going to be like pay time and a half for like 1 hour of their work time. So, and I think that will hopefully help them to feel better about it. And then when we're charging more and we have a little more money to play with, I mean, we want to give as much of that back to the employees as we can anyway. So
yeah. And also we talked about trying to limit it to two Twilight shoots maximum per week. Yeah. So they're not out there 3, 4, maybe more a week if someone's out or whatever between Reed and I and, the crew.
Cut to April.
It's just,
Twilight. One more in there.
Yeah. It's one of those things that kind of is up and down, right? Some weeks you have 10 and some weeks you have 1. It's just, it's a weird thing to predict.
Yeah, for sure. So I think if we can do that, that's really going to make it a better environment for us. Like our work-life balance will hopefully be better, or at least, we'll be making a little more money, and that'll feel good. Yeah.
And if, we get pushback from clients on the price, then we're going to have our virtual Twilight package that we can offer for 4 to 5, 6, whatever it ends up being, maybe 5 photos.
I like that.
Here's a virtual tour package for
a virtual Twilight package. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I like that.
So they can do that for $100 or 100, whatever it is. So they can still get what they need.
Good idea.
We're just full of good ideas. And we have more good ideas, and we're going to get into those after we do a little break. We're going to do our social media sidebar, which is going to be very exciting. So please keep listening.
All right, let me go refill my cold brew. I'll be back in a second.
Right, sounds good. Hey, they're a presenting sponsor, so we should talk about them a little bit, I think.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So Aereo, it's your all-in-one solution for like growing your business. Not all in one, but like many, 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 many things in one to help grow your business. It's a platform that you can send photos. You can do scheduling. Can someone else also pipe in and say some of the wonderful things about Aereo?
I was just going to. We actually finally started using the scheduling for Aereo.
Oh, big news from us.
It is big news. I know they were very excited to get us going on that, and now we are.
Okay, good. Yeah,
more good things in the works from Aereo for us. It's only taken us 3
years. but that's great. So in Aereo, look, there's always more to explore.
Exactly.
Like I don't think there's anyone using it to its fullest capacity. We're going to try, though.
We're trying.
Yeah. But there's so much. It's going to take us another 3 or 4 years. And by then, what they're going to done? Have 10 other great, amazing things. Because that's how they're always innovating over there at Aereo. Those big money people with all their money now.
They have a money room where they just roll around in it, I think.
Oh, Aereo. We love it. If you want to give Aereo a try, go to aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Use the code Upmarket, and any new account is going to get 15 free. Get that right. Free bonus listings. I love free bonuses. Get in it. To me, it's hard to imagine that any year could be more floor planning than 2023 was. But I think 2024 is going to be, when we look back on our lives, the year of the floor plan. And I think Second Floor app is going to be one of the main players in ushering in the new dawn of the era of the floor plan.
Wow. That sounds very epic.
Right.
Well, it is. Come on. Well, look, Second Floor is an epic app that does epic things. Like make floor plans instantly that you can deliver to your clients. And guess what? Not only can you get that floor plan with dimensions, but it gives you the GLA square footage. Whatever that means, it's great. And people want it.
The clients love it.
The clients
people
love
that gross living area.
Oh, is that what it is? Gross living area? That was my college apartment.
Oh, nice.
Second Floor app. We're ready. They're always innovating. Their app is just getting better and better and better. Give it a try. You can go to secondfloorapp.com. That's secondApp.com. Or Second Floor app. You know what I'm saying.
Floor's in there
and
somewhere.
Just saying the second is spelled out. It's not the number. So secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. And you're going to get a free month, and you can floor plan it up to your heart's content. Although my heart is never content with a limited amount of floor plans. I just want to have as many as possible because we all know how I feel about floor plans. secondfloorapp.com/upmarket. All right, social media sidebar. Come on. You want to follow us on social media. We're Upmarket Pod. And we're going to have that VA doing some speaking of epic content for
Look out,
social
people,
media.
it's coming.
And then Upmarket.media is our flagship social media. My personal account's Tall Reed Fish. Mark doesn't have a personal account. Chelsea is, of course, Feeding Beautiful. Feeding Beautiful, not feeling. She's feeling beautiful and feeding beautiful. What you should also do is check out upmarketcourse.com, where we have our course to grow and scale your real estate media business. You can book a call with me and I can tell you about the course. And then if you do that, we're going to give you a freaking super sweet discount code, because one of the things that you can do in the slow season is take our course or take any course. I mean, it doesn't have to be ours, but why wouldn't you take ours?
No.
And that course is going to give you actually a bunch of ideas on how you can scale. And during the slow season is probably the time that you have the time to actually put into this and put some of those things into action.
Get into all the nuts and bolts of how it all works, right?
So upmarketcourse.com. Book a call with me. I want to talk to you anyway. And you don't have to buy the course to have the call. But that would be awesome if you did, give Santa a little extra money around here.
Yeah.
Oh, although this comes out after Christmas. So, So I want to talk about, in this social media sidebar, I want to talk about our social media goals for 2024 and how can we address those in the slow season. So for Upmarket Pod, I think the goal is to just have a passable social media account. So it's a giant upgrade.
I want to see Reed Shoots Twilights, Reed Shoots Real Estate, like every night on there just popping up.
Oh yeah, because when I've been
those,
shooting,
right?
I've been hashtagging Reed Shoots Real Estate, which is not.
Is that a trending hashtag or no?
No. Hopefully, it's not going to be too popular in the coming year. But for what do we want to do with our main Upmarket Media account? Do we want to have a certain number of followers, a certain engagement level? I mean, what is it that we really want to accomplish?
I think engagement level is high priority.
Okay.
Gaining new followers, new clients. I think.
Do we have a number in mind?
I don't know. Do we?
How many followers do we have on Instagram? That's our main.
I don't track it every day. It's like 7,000, 8,000, something like that.
Okay.
We have, I follow almost every realtor in the county, and most of them follow us back, which is nice. So I feel like,
so there's
the
not
follower count is good, but maybe the engagement.
Yeah. How much are people engaging? Because I don't have the login.
Yeah. A lot of people engage on the stories. If I'm, kind of posting an anonymous house, is this on here? What street is that? Oh, when's that coming on? Like people like the kind of teaser stuff because they're always trying to get ahead in the market and whatever.
Yeah, conniving bastards.
It's that behind the scenes stuff.
Oh yeah. Jesus, this should
just
be called
the
Chelsea telling us to do behind the scenes podcast.
Well, that's on our plan for when it's slow. Is really hold ourselves accountable and
hate accountability.
I think we need to make a plan for our team to send in behind the scenes on a weekly basis so that we can really post that. Because people like seeing that. They like seeing the houses behind the scenes. They like seeing the team behind the scenes. I say that every time.
Well, then we should put that in action. Let's have a social media. Let's do a Slack channel for social media that I think we already have one, maybe. And we'll add the team to it. And then Chelsea, you can be in charge of the reminders of.
I can do that.
Okay, all right. You've been tasked with something.
We can set up, I guess a Dropbox folder makes more sense than putting them actually in Slack. But
behind the scenes of you in the salon chair too.
Oh,
everyone's out shooting. There's Reed with his glass of wine.
I love that.
That is content I can get behind.
The CEO throne.
I got to do that for the pod too. Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's entertainment.
Well, and then hopefully in that channel we'll be prepped. But when we have the VA, they'll be in our Slack and they can get in there and then they can
Yeah, because it's a two-step thing, right? It's having the footage, but then who's going to actually go in and put it together when we get the final media and cut it together into something that's kind of usable and
right.
Because I have intentions, but then I have a crazy week or I'm shooting. And I'm just like, I guess I'll do it next week or whatever, and it just gets pushed.
Oh yeah.
Then you need that. Obviously, social media consistency is key and just cranking out the content. So,
right. Well, and then our goal for the social media sidebar for the coming year is to actually have stuff to talk about more about it and what's working with us and how we're seeing our engagement numbers just skyrocket.
Totally.
Love the positivity.
Well, I think we can do that. I think we'll get. I mean, if we were actually producing content that's not just here's a house.
Yeah.
I think that would be really good for us.
Yeah, and there's some aspirational accounts out there that I follow, and one in particular that I love is John Reed up in Canada, Reed Media Agency. If you're not following him, check him out.
He spells his name the weird way though. It's R-E-I-D.
Yeah, kind of a goofy Reed, but we'll forgive him.
Yeah,
but he's on camera a lot. He has someone cutting together reels. He's just cranking out content like all the time, and the stuff is good. It's high quality.
So if you're going to aspire to that, are you going to be on camera?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, dang, is that going to be me? It's like,
it should be. I think
that's the hesitation. It's like I don't want it to be just me. I think it should be. Well,
I guess I should do it a little bit, especially if I'm hosting our other podcast, which now we have a new space to do it in, and maybe a new presenting sponsor for it, who hopefully is going to be the brokerage where we're having this recording at. But well, I think if we had some like a VA / overseas editor who could do all that stuff for us, I think we could produce so much more content, because that's our Achilles heel right now, is we don't have anyone to edit it. I mean, Marco's back on the team, but he doesn't want to do it.
No, it's not a good use of his time.
No. Well, it's good.
I mean, it's an okay use of his time, but it's like I'd rather him be in the field.
Yeah, shooting, generating. Oh, speaking of behind the scenes, so Chelsea is now taking some
behind the scenes.
I need to
get some behind the scenes.
Literally as we speak, it's happening.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if this is my good side.
Okay, I'm going to put, are you doing video? Okay. Well, this is going to be on, I'm going to upload this to the damn Upmarket pod right today, if Chelsea actually sends it to me, which she doesn't always do. Okay, that's enough. Okay.
Hey.
All right,
There's never too much, right?
Social media sidebar fans, that's it. The last one of 2023. We're going to be back in 2024 with social media sidebar, and we're going to be back with action items and a whole other second half of the show after this music that will play right now. Okay, so we did get into pricing a bit, but one of the things that I think we missed in there was that you want to look at, are you offering the correct products for the coming year? And because we should always be thinking about innovating, always be thinking about, are we offering, do we have products that don't sell and we either need to figure out how to market those or just get them off of our list?
Something getting stale or whatever.
Yeah. Or are there things that we can see that other people are doing or that we've invented for ourselves that we could sell to our clients? And one of the things that we're looking at right now is doing a version of like 3D floor plans. Everyone loves floor plans, as we know. But the kind of that 3D version. And we just tried one out on our top client the other day. And the feedback was, we like it! Exclamation point in the email. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was her husband / partner, and I was like, I'd like to hear from her and her other team members with maybe a little more insight. But it's like it was positive, and so that's good.
So, but can we sell it for an amount that would make sense to do it? But so that's one of the things we're thinking about. And so in your market, look at what you're offering, look at what your competitors are offering, and make sure that because anytime you can add a product, it doesn't necessarily cannibalize your other products. It actually can add more revenue to your
and it lets your client base know, right, that you're kind of innovating. You're always ahead of the curve, and you're offering. You're not the stale old media company.
It gives you content for social media to announce your new offering.
Yeah, and obviously, as we've talked about our video product and how that's going to morph, and maybe our videos are getting a bit stale, and we need to reinvent the wheel on that a little bit.
Right.
So.
Well, and that then goes into the other one of the bigger things that I think all of us want to do during the slow season is how can we streamline our operations, make things more efficient, and also make things better. And we talked quite a bit, I think, recently about our need to kind of find a different video editing option. But outside of that, it's kind of looking at everything and like how, where are you bogging down? What are the pain points that we have, and how can we smooth those over for the coming year?
Yeah. Are our photos where our photo editing things and where they need to be? Like, what else can we tweak? Or what's our constant feedback that I guess we get if there's a negative thing that's constantly coming up? Like, how do we address that?
Right. Or what do we find is a pain in the ass that we need to make better? Right. Like we were talking about, just like doing that quality control pass. But what are the other thing? Is it our mailing list? Is it, I don't think we have enough content for our mailing list. We don't do it often enough, So how can we make sure that we streamline that? And then we're kind of looking at a couple different things. We're changing up our scheduling system a little bit, and then the other one is we're going headfirst into the CRM.
Yeah, and that has so much potential. Like we're just kind of scratching the surface on what that can do for us, I think. We're transitioning over, obviously, from our newsletter provider that we used before. We're bringing that kind of into the CRM. And the social media aspect, we can do social media planning on there and actually have stuff ready to roll out rather than just kind of scrambling and doing it same day.
Right. Well, that'll play into having the VA with all the content. So if we actually have content, then we can schedule it.
Yes, that is
right
true.
Now we're scheduling nothing.
Exactly.
We're just like, shoot, what have I got to throw up today? So, that's not really a schedule.
Kind of scrambling.
Exactly. So it's really kind of the streamlining of the back end operations that you can. If you can make those efficiencies now and practice them and work out the kinks, then when it does get busy, you're just going to be in a better spot.
Yeah, it's just kind of smooth those things out. And, we've talked about the admin thing and having a VA help us with that, but it's like, what happens when Chelsea's gone for 2 weeks? Or it's like, when you and I are stepping in for that, do we need someone else that can kind of step in for Chelsea or work side by side with you on a different kind of client-facing level? So we kind of...
Yeah.
Need to figure all that out.
What is your vacation plans for the new year, Chelsea?
I don't know yet. We're not even in the new year yet.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, it'll be interesting now that we have all these systems that we're getting into place with the VA, the CRM, Aereo scheduling, everything all at once. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah,
but it'll be a whole different.
It is and it's something that someone has to learn. So I need, as much as I'm like, I don't know, I got to learn it because
have fun with that, guys.
Yeah, because I'm the de facto admin really when Chelsea's off. So I really got to get to know that. But then the more specialized our systems are, in a way, the harder it is for someone just to come in and do it. But even if we are automating things a bit more, which I think is kind of the idea with the CRM and with Aereo, is that
100%.
You put it in the system and it pings this and it does a zap and it does great. But then someone still needs to answer the phone,
right?
And that can get nutty. And take away from everything else.
Yeah, when your inbox is blowing up and open phone, and it's just like, jeez.
Yeah.
That's,
well, and I don't think, at least right now, that's something that we're wanting to offload to a VA. I mean, we still feel like having that U.S.-based customer service, whether it's Chelsea or somebody else potentially, is something that we want to continue to have because it just feels like it's just too much.
I think it's important because they feel comfortable and it's someone they recognize when they call in and it just keeps them coming back.
Yeah, people want to talk to you. They like talking to you, and it's just like part of their process, I guess, for working with us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that can always be changed and morph, but you want to make sure that whatever you change into or add on is of the same quality and the same, or where people are going to be comfortable.
Right.
And I think, when you have someone with English as a second language, it can be, very difficult. And even if it's someone who lives in Asia and is trying to just pronounce the place names of where the shoots are, I mean, it can just be, it's probably okay, but it just it's a little tough, I think.
I feel like that could be a little off-putting for some realtors too. Like, oh, you don't even know what I'm talking about.
What's the best time of day to shoot this property?
Yeah. Well, and that's so much of it is because we are still localized. We haven't done that scale where we're in all these different big markets. It's like, okay, we intrinsically know that if you're going to do a shoot in Ojai and there's topo views, you need to do in the afternoon. Right. So the pink moment looks nice, so the mountains look nice because that's when the sun hits them. And no one else is going to know that. Right. And you can train someone when there's an Ojai address, ask, does it have topo views? I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
It doesn't feel right.
It's complicated. Yeah. But at a certain point, but if you are trying to scale to have, a larger presence, then a lot of businesses have to rely on people who don't live in the area to offer the customer support. So that is something, that is a hurdle that probably people at a certain point will have to get over.
Right.
And, and if the day ever comes when Chelsea leaves, maybe we don't necessarily hire someone who lives here. It's going to be someone, in Kentucky. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of comes down to like, what's our customer service expectation? Right. And that was kind of one thing that I took away from PMRE with some people that have huge teams across multiple states. Is like someone mentioned, like, this is our customer service expectation. The phone only rings 3 times, or text messages are gotten back to within 15 minutes, emails within an hour. And it's like, we can't always maintain that when we're super busy and you're on the phone with someone and emails are coming in. It's like, one person can only do so much.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it is a goal to have that level of response. I sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'll be, well, I could respond to this text because I know Chelsea's busy, but then I'm like, well, I don't want to step on her toes, or
right, totally.
But, we always want to have, as the owners, you're always like, we want to get back to them as quick as possible. Because it goes back to so many, how many shoots have we ever lost that because you didn't get back within 20 minutes and it does happen.
Sure, yeah. If a new client's calling around and you're just one person on the list, then they'll just call the next person. So that's to me is like one of your top priorities. And this is like if the phone rings and it's like, that's kind of drop everything and grab the phone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But it's not always possible. So
yeah. Exactly. All right. So what other things are we attempting to kind of streamline over this slow season?
Let's check your master list here.
So on my master list, it says Streamline Operations.
That's super useful, yeah.
Which is what we just talked about.
Right. Well, that's why I was asking for other.
We talked about. Things. We didn't really get into branding, I guess. And is your brand where it needs to be? Or
I mean, that's okay. But is there anything we're doing to CRM? We're not doing anything with our branding.
No, we're not.
CRM. I mean,
I guess
we already talked about what we're really. There's so much in
We've
that,
gone
though.
over the review request thing before. We've kind of touched on social media, touched on the newsletter aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, taking clients out to lunch. We haven't talked about.
Oh,
that
yeah. Yeah.
The client. What do we call it? Management or
relations?
There we go.
You were cutting all that, right, Bethany? Thank you.
Yeah, please.
So part of streamlining, for sure, one of the goals is to give us more time. And in this slow season, we do have more time. And so one of the things that we want to do when we have more time is interface with our clients more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ways I think that it goes back to what we talked about in the very beginning is when you want to do projections on what the next year is going to look like. Well, a lot of the ways you can do that is actually just talking to realtors and seeing not only what do they have in their hip pocket they're sitting on, but also what are they seeing is going to happen? What are they hearing from their colleagues about what the next year is going to look like? So the slow season is a great time to take out your clients to lunch, to just have phone calls with them, to meet for coffee, or to go to the mixers and socializing events, networking events that might be taking place in your area. Having that time with your clients is great because they're slow right now too.
Yeah.
So
they're all doing like kind of SWOT assessment of their business, how it was, what they're looking at. Yeah. So they're kind of in that reassessment phase. Man, I need to do better videos next year.
Well,
so
exactly,
it's like,
and it's a great opportunity to sell because they're thinking about the same things, and you can also ask, well, what have you thought about with media for next year?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Find out what they want their brand to look like next year, so that we can really
who are they aspiring to
work
be
with them on that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. And we're definitely going to be doing that. I mean, we're talking to some, we want to manage our brokerage clients. We want to talk to other brokers about other possible brokerage deals that we can pull off. And again, this is the time of the year to do that. And
it's not always the predictable stuff that you think. Like we're sitting in this space right now, and we have a relationship because we go to these mixers, and you're just working relationships that eventually, down the road are going to pay off into something that you never even saw coming or possible.
Well, exactly. So what's the point of all that? Another good opportunity to cut, Bethany. Oh, and I got to think of an action item.
I don't need one, right?
Yeah.
I'm not on camera. I don't need.
Oh, whatever.
Shit, yeah.
I don't know. Oh, and I gotta get what's our? God damn it!
What do you need?
You need the CRM thing.
The CRM, Pixel CRM. What the deal? Oh, it's a free month. Pixel CRM. We can talk about it. It's fine. Is it use the code Upmarket or is it Pixel CRM /up.com/Upmarket?
Yeah, is there a code or an actual web page? I see people walking by. Are they looking in? What are they doing?
Yes.
Oh, what the heck?
We need an Upmarket brand on this thing. People walking by know what we're doing.
Yeah, well, exactly. We got to get a sticker on my computer face. Sorry, Bethany. Okay. pixelcrm.com/upmarket to get $200 off. Okay. And one of the added benefits of having, seeing your clients and taking them out to lunch and all that stuff is you can go for in the slow season a few months without seeing your clients. And so this is going to keep you top of mind. It's going to, you're going to be the person who bought them lunch, even though you can't afford it because you don't have any money because it's a slow season.
And it's like, I feel like the slow season's been all year for some agents. So I'm like, man, is that agent still working? Like, we need to check in with them. What's going on?
I guess. Although those, if they're not working, we don't need to, forget it. Yeah. We want the working ones.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying.
It's just good to refresh the relationship for the new year.
Absolutely. Yeah. It totally is. So, and that constitutes, taking some action, Mark.
Yeah. Here we are again.
Yeah. And my God, action items once again today, sponsored by Pixel CRM. Pixel CRM is the only, as far as I know, it's the only CRM that is specifically designed for real estate media owners. Oh man, you can streamline so much stuff using Pixel CRM. You can communicate with clients. You can schedule social media. You can do all this kind of stuff. So Pixel CRM. So that's PIXLCRM.com. And guess what? Add a slash, add the word Upmarket, boom, $200 off.
How's that for a deal?
Boom.
It's good. I think it's a really good deal. That's a lot. $200. That's a lot of money.
Well,
all right. PixelCRM.com/Upmarket. So, Mark, final action items of 2023.
Oh.
Yeah. You got a good one?
I have an amazing one that I'll share after you do yours.
Oh, okay. One of these days we're going to have the same one.
Guys.
What about Chelsea? Chelsea, do you have one today?
I don't know. We'll see.
Oh,
Sometimes it comes to me when you're in the middle of yours.
We'll see. Okay.
All right. We ready? Let's hit it now.
Yeah, go for it, Mark.
All right. So my action item is something that we just did last week that we kind of mentioned a little bit. Reed and I got together with our CFO, Liz, and we just kind of looked at what each of us are doing, I guess, on a daily basis in the business and for the business. And we just kind of laid it all out there, made the list as like, is this really working? Like, is this dragging you down? Do you hate doing this? Do you want to do this? Like, how can we delegate and kind of just shuffle around things that we're responsible for? If there's something that, that person always does this, it's just kind of taken care of. But maybe that's a super drag for that person and they just hate doing it. So it was just kind of looking at things that we're all doing, especially on the kind of financial, boring back end side that nobody really wants to do, and how can we shuffle those things around so it feels more reasonable and it's more fair and equitable for everyone, and stuff's still getting done. So that was kind of
an emotional check-in in a way.
In a way,
you're streamlining operations, but I think it does go into what makes you happy. And
for me, it's like the quality control in the morning. It's like, I do it. So I'm great at it, but I just it's just a drain on my day, and it's like not a good way to start your day doing stuff like that. So it's that kind of check-in. Like, all right, now's the time to redelegate when you're not just swamped by doing it all. So and if you don't have a team, if you're just a solo person, and then look at what you can delegate to a VA or potentially a partner or however you want.
Well, yeah, for sure. I think even if you're solo, it's great to have that emotional check-in, because then as you figure out how you want to structure your business, because you're either going to grow or you're not going to grow. I mean, you really got to, at a certain point, think about it. As we've talked about, you're going to get to a point where it's like either you need to delegate or you need to raise prices and lose clients, or whatever it is. So I think always looking at what does give you joy in the job.
Yeah.
Is a great place to start.
And how to offload that.
So and what you're good at too, and often what you enjoy is also what you're good at. Often, not always. So Chelsea, I'm going last. So if you want,
I did come up with
one.
Well
then go for
it.
You
have to go with the flow.
You said sometimes. I'm not on camera today, so I'm not going to do one.
Well, I'm playing off Mark's, but with that being said, while it's slow, if you do have a team, I think it's a good time to schedule one-on-one lunch with each team member do an emotional check-in, not just on tasks of what they don't want to be doing with the job, but just checking in with them as a person and seeing how they're feeling about everything and about the year. It was a weird year. So I think an emotional check-in with everyone is good. And if you're a solo team, then have a me meeting. Check in.
That's right.
Check in with
Shout
yourself.
Out Kamika and Anthony.
And, just see what you want to do come January.
All right. So, Chelsea, what are you doing after this? We'll go to lunch.
It's your turn, Chelsea. You know that, right?
Okay. I have a cheesy one.
Okay.
It's. I hope you guys will indulge me. But my action item is to have some gratitude. We all made it through the year. Maybe barely. Maybe
one way or another.
Yeah. But I think we are. If you're listening to this, you probably have a decently successful business, or you're trying. Whatever. I think have gratitude for where you are, what you have built in your business, and have gratitude for where it's going to go, and just have gratitude for the people that help you. And that's going to be, your friends, your family, your employees, your coworkers, whoever it is. I think just have a little bit of gratitude as we kind of slide into the end of the year. And I also believe that if you look at all the stuff we talked about in this episode today, and even in our SWOT analysis last time, that if you look at those things through the prism of gratitude, then you're going to come out in a better place. And I think you're going to make better decisions, and you're going to be able to grow your business in a really positive way. So
I like that. Cheesy, but good. I mean, it's so, we just get so lost in we got to do this better. We got to get this done. We got to, and you're as focused on what you're not doing or what you could do better, but it's important to reflect back.
Well, no, it just goes to, like I said, I until we really started crunching the numbers over the last month or so, I was like, man, it was when we went to PMRE and Brannick said on stage, hey man, if you're only down 20% and listeners down 40%, you had a great year. I was like, oh man, that's such a great way to look at it. But until that moment, I was feeling pretty bad about how we had done this year. And since then, and since the kind of the numbers have kind of coming in more, it's just like, man, I'm feeling really good. And I feel really grateful that we were able to do that, of what we've all built together, how we've been able to get new clients and keep the ones we have. And
we didn't just scrape through the year. Like, we got through the year well, and we're positioned well for next year. So definitely grateful for that.
Yeah. And you know what else I'm grateful for? Our listeners.
We love them.
Without you guys, I hate using it. Without the people, all the good people listening, we would, we wouldn't have a podcast. And like we said, we enjoy doing the podcast. And thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. And also, one final shout out: the OGs are gone. The torch has been passed. Shooting Spaces had their final episode. So shout out to Brian and Rich. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the support you've given our podcast. But they're dead now, so we don't need to talk about them again.
We love those guys. How many did they get through? Like
180. 180. So they did a 180 degree turn, and now they're heading back the other way. So
it's been quite a ride for them. So congrats.
Rest in peace, Shooting Spaces. All right. And everyone have a wonderful new year. We will be back with a ton more episodes and a ton more stuff, and we're excited to do it. All right. See you on the other side. Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.